Welcome to another episode of the Flashback Cartoon Hour. I'm your loving bald host with the most from coast to coast, Nick. I'll put a shock to your system, Lascola. And today I got two goons for the price of one. Introduce yourself, goons.
It's your boy, Santi.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Lenny.
What up, guys? And today we have the pleasure of going over Static Shock.
Save the world, fly to the sky. Have kid amazing. Okay, stash out can face it. Yeah, 1-0, then you zap. Click and see what get trapped. Look in my eyes, I got the power. Feelings from the static shower. Superhero, static shock. Superhero, static shock. Criminals get twisted. It's superhero gifted. Bell ring back in school. Nobody know what I do. Okay, superhero, static shock.
Let's get into it. Static Shock is an American superhero animated television series based on the Milestone Media DC Comics. Let me start again. Static Shock is an American...
Dyslexic.
Static Shock is an American superhero animated television series based on the Milestone Media / DC Comics superhero Static. It premiered on the WB television network's Kids WB, the programming block, and ran from September 23rd, the year 2000 to May 22nd, 2004, for a total of 4 seasons with 52 half-hour episodes in total.
The show revolves around Virgil Hawkins, a 14-year-old boy who lives in Dakota City and also uses secret superhero identity of Static. After exposure to a mutagen. That's a word.
Yeah, you got it.
I have to restart that one. The show revolves around Virgil Hawkins, a 14-year-old boy who lives in Dakota City and also uses a secret superhero identity, Static, after an exposure to a mutagen gas during a gang fight, which gave him electromagnetic powers. And he shouldn't even been there anyways. Let's get that out of the way.
Well, absolutely not. But that's what he kind of makes the best about it.
One of the
things, it was a total it was an accident, but it was a total accident when it came to him.
One of the things I'll appreciate about the show, looking as an adult, they really were trying to let the viewer know that because he kind of, on the first episode, he really gets forced by I forget
Hot Street, wasn't it?
No, it was Ebon. I forget his real name.
Oh yeah,
but Ebon was forcing him to join his gang that he didn't want to. But it's join my gang or I'll beat the crap out of you.
This is no joke, Virgil. There's only one way you're gonna save your skin. Roll with my crew.
Me? You don't want me. I'm only 14, and I'm too stringy to be a banger.
Don't front, Virgil. I'm offering you life insurance. You join up, and F-Stop will back off quick. He ain't looking to tangle with this posse.
That's
right.
Truth. I feel what you're saying, but it's my pops. He's got a teeny little problem with gangs, and I'm too young to be homeless.
Your pop's gonna watch your back all day? He gonna beat on F-Stop for you? Always said you were smart, Virgil. Don't prove me wrong now.
Which is kind of fucked up, but
and very much what happens.
I think that was also trying to scare kids to be hey, gangs are bad.
Yeah, don't join gangs.
But all right, it was the first time that an African American superhero was the titular character of their own broadcast and animated series.
The idea of a static animated TV series first emerged with DC's editor-in-chief, Jeanette Kahn, during the time Dwayne McDuffie was working for Milestone Media under Kahn. In 1993, Kahn proposed to adapt some Milestone Media comic books. Alan Burnett was hired to write a pilot episode for X-Men S series with Milestone superheroes called the New Guard. After attempts to produce several other Milestone projects, Static was eventually the series they went for.
So we could have gotten several other projects, but this was the one where they were like, you know what? We need to speak to the black youth. Get them.
Speak to the black youth, he says.
You, Lenny, they were speaking.
Yeah. I got
You were how old in 2000?
2000. Oh, shit. I think I was like 10, something like that.
Wow.
10-year-old Lenny needed static now more than ever.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know
he
what?
did, man.
You know what, though? You know what, Lenny? 10-year-old Nick also needed static.
Yeah, but
Yeah, probably.
And he would have been
you're
geared.
not black, so it wasn't meant for
And
you.
I don't know what. Oh, we
Damn, so I was 8.
Yeah, I was in 2000. I was 7.
No, wait
You
a second.
weren't.
I was 5. I was going to say, I was like, that makes no sense, but I forgot. You said Lenny's older than you.
Would have been 8. Wait.
7? I don't know.
Okay.
Math's not mathing.
All right.
You
6
gotta
and a
keep
half?
that.
I'm keeping all of it. This TV series was an extremely popular one, granting its new renewal for a second season just 1 month after its debut. As of December 2000, it was the highest rated preteen from 2 to 11 years among all networks on its time slot, and the third best on Kids WB lineup. From its debut to July 2003, the series secured the second most among boys aged 6 to 11.
Well, the one turn is yours.
I didn't realize he was done. I thought he was taking another dramatic pause as he does.
I am just reading my notes that I wrote.
Static
Excellent.
/ Virgil Hawkins' best friend Richie Foley was an
Obligation, I think it says.
I think you spelled that wrong. What
It's
is
amalgamation, guys.
Amalgamation?
An amalgam to amalgam
Look,
things
wait a
is to
minute.
combine.
Yeah,
Nick starts taking these new pills. He thinks he's a walking
That's what I'm saying.
thesaurus over
Don't
there.
do that. I knew. I
Oh.
learned about. I wish it
He's
was.
been yelling at his wife to spell every goddamn word. His
wish you had
goddamn
Patreon.
I learned
What?
about the amalgamation because Marvel and DC combine universes to create one universe called the Amalgam Universe, and I was like, "The fuck's an amalgam?"
amalgam in the middle. All right,
Okay.
Lenny, stop fucking around.
Fuck y'all.
Damn it.
Fuck you, bitches.
We never goof around this much. And now you come here, dude.
Stupid.
You were
Fucking
8 in
cunt.
Bad influence,
2000.
dude. I have an angel Lenny and a devil Lenny, both on both sides of my shoulders.
All right. Static / Virgil Hawkins' best friend Richie Foley was an amalgamation of different characters from the comics. Richie was aware of Virgil's secret identity and encouraged him to use his powers to become the superhero in Dakota City. This is contrast to the comics where Rick Stone never learned about his best friend's double life. In the comics, it was Virgil's other friend, Frida Gorin.
Static / Virgil Hawkins' mother was dead in the TV series. Despite the fact that she was alive in the comics, this change was done because producers had the intention to focus on a strong, complex relationship between an African American father and son. I feel like this was all like meant for me, Nick, right? Nevertheless, the creator, Dwayne McDuffie, was concerned by the change because he originally intended to oppose the stereotype of black people not having a complete nuclear family. Oh, wow, Nick, right? Wow.
It was the creator. I didn't fucking.
Nick told me-
Word.
Nick said, make sure Lenny reads this part. I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
I was like, yo, listen, Lenny's the only real black one out of us. Santi's halfway there.
I never said I was black. I mean, I'm Sicilian, so, I'm
I
black Italian.
also am Sicilian.
I'm Blatalian. I'm brown.
Yes, you are. You are.
Gabagoo.
However, McDuffie said that it worked out okay, as the crew could use the absence of Virgil's mother to create a couple of great stories.
Mhm.
Couple.
Beginning in season 2, the TV series started featuring guest appearances from real-life celebrities voicing animated cartoon versions of themselves. This goes from Shaquille O'Neal all the way to Romeo Miller, a.k.a. Little Romeo. And now Romeo this and Romeo that. Does anyone even know what happened to Romeo? What was the last thing that man did?
Dude, he passed away.
Don't fuck with me, bro. I'm doing the scene for that shit.
Remember his Nickelodeon show he had?
That was in Romeo. This and
I think it was like,
hey, it's time for the Romeo show.
I think like he was doing some music, but also at the same time, I also know his father's like a big business guy, kind of like how Shaq is. Like he's a very big business guy. So
yeah, has to be.
So right now they're really not doing, too much. Probably just chilling.
Well, here's the real question: Little Romeo versus Lil Bow Wow. Who wins in a fight?
Ooh, wait, a rap battle or like
both? They're rapping as they punch the shit out of each other.
In a rap battle, definitely Romeo, because Bow Wow's a bitch. It's just just what it is.
Bow Wow coming at your throat.
Bow Wow recently tried to get back into like the into the mix, but everyone was just shut him down, man, because he's just he's old, he's fake.
He can't be little no more.
He can't be, he just can't.
Season 2 also featured a new intro sequence where Static fights Kangor, Hot Streak, Puff, and Ebon, as well as featuring a new theme song. The Static Shock logo at the end of this sequence was against a light and purple background.
Mm-hmm.
And
it changes at the end of each season. That's why that was important.
I will say Romeo's song was pretty fire.
Yeah.
Fight the criminals, chase the bad guys.
Listeners, if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see that I posted one of the theme songs to kind of get everybody ready for this episode. And I, without even thinking, I had grabbed the season 3 theme song because it featured Gear in it. And I was like, oh, Gear is such a fucking awesome dude. I want them both flying around. And then once I heard Little Romeo start going, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, this must be after that episode.
Fight the criminals, chase the bad guy. Superhero, Static Shock.
Woo-woo. Superhero, Static Shock.
Get twisted. It's superhero gifted.
And that was Bald and Hairy coming at you.
So for season 3, Static changed his costume to a darker colored one. Dennis Cohen stated that the change was done to give his clothes a feel of the comic book. While Dwayne McDuffie said it represented a growth that Virgil was passing through, aka puberty. This change made it possible to explore some of the darker places in his world. Darker, huh? And to have more varied conflicts as the villains had also become more mature. Oh wow, holy shit. He described it as a natural outgrowth of all that, as is the new, more naturalistic look of the show.
Yeah, so he got the darker clothes. He got the slim down look. The tone started getting a little bit darker too. We started getting. They had already had that the sins of the sons of the fathers episode, but I think by this time the Jimmy would have already just happened as the season finale of season 2, which is one of the darkest episodes in the series, really. So in season 3, Richie Foley gained superpowers and became Static's crime-fighting partner, Gear. This was done because it was becoming hard to fit him into the episodes, and the producers wanted to keep the chemistry between voice actors Phil Lamar, aka Static, and Jason Marsden, aka Richie, intact. There was also a positive response from children in focus groups, so the decision seemed pretty obvious to the TV series producers. Ratings increased after Richie's character obtained superpowers, and Dwayne McDuffie affirmed that this is what secured the renewal for a new season. In the series, it was explained that Richie gained his superpowers as a delayed reaction from being around Virgil Hawkins, whose clothes reeked of the gas created after the Big Bang. That there's a little bit of a problem with that, because technically all of Virgil's family should have also gotten superpowers then, if that was really the case, because like if Richie's hanging out with Virgil that much that you're now hanging out with him more than his own family is, then like that's crazy. I mean, it's quite possible, but I think like, you know, his sister should have gotten powers. His dad definitely should have gotten powers.
I mean, you know what that I think is kind of just real here too? It's just that how, like you kind of said, that there was also a positive response from children in focus groups. Like you have to understand, like looking at the show, like kind of like now, if you go back and rewatch it, a lot of that stuff was very mature for children.
Yeah,
Like,
but like,
I know at 10 years old, I wasn't thinking about racism.
No, but that's funny to put them all in a circle and be like, do you see him getting, do you see this boy getting shot in the leg?
definitely the most. You got to think about the shows that came up before that: Batman, Superman.
This is definitely the youngest.
It's like the most child down.
Yeah. They were going for like a clear like 8 to 10 age gap, if you will.
Yeah, but how many 10-year-olds like are gonna know about?
We learned about racism in elementary school.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, grew up in the South. I mean, yeah, you definitely learn about racism in the South.
I was gonna say, yeah,
we had
racism and fucking religion. Yeah,
like Black History Month is back to celebrate on there. So yeah, now it's but yeah, no, it's you know, it just but
some things you have to expose to children like early.
Well,
they can't.
You
they
can
can't
explain
be,
it to them, but that you can explain it to them, but that doesn't mean they're gonna get it like right away. So
oh no, of course not. Just like
Are you saying like you don't like that they put them in the circle asking, or like because really, if you look, they didn't specify the age group of the kids. They just said kids. So I'm gonna go with that. I mean, at least they were
the show
10.
was aiming
right. Obviously, they didn't like specify any age group.
I was just throwing numbers out there.
No, I thought you wrote that down somewhere too.
Oh, it was
2 to 11.
It was the highest rated preteen. So that's just who was watching it. It wasn't aimed for them. They just happened to be watching it. It's all about who they got. It doesn't seem like that's who they were aiming for. They just happened to get that age group there, which is a good thing. I was a part of that. Little black. So were you. Wait, how old were you in 2000?
11.
-5?
I was 5 years old. 5 años.
Wow, we got him speaking German in here.
Put the drugs away.
Nicotine's
bad.
All right, you know what?
You know that. He loves his Nick. The Nick loves his Nick. That's what he likes, man.
The TV series' popularity led to a new demand from Milestone Media's Static Comics. The first 4 issues of it were reissued as trade paperback titled Static Shock: Trial by Fire in 2000. A new comic book miniseries, Static Shock: Rebirth of the Cool, was released between January and September 2001. Rebirth of Cool featured Static changing his costume to the version used in the series.
The TV series production team was mostly composed of people who were involved with the new Batman Adventures 1997. And
real quick, it's a former episode me and Santi have covered. Guys, go check it out on all podcast platforms and continue.
And Superman, the animated series, 1996.
We also covered that one.
But also included Static's co-creator, Dennis Cohen. Although the series hired the comic series co-creator, Dwayne McDuffie, as story editor and writer, McDuffie had no direct involvement in its development.
Starting from the 3rd season, the show had a new opening theme written by Master P and Lil Romeo and performed by the latter. Sad to say, the obvious reason for the show's cancellation, a tale as old as time. The show was not making enough revenue in its merch sales, as with many, many sad cancellations of very many loved series. One last fun fact is that Static is only shown to throw one punch the entire series, and it was while fighting an imposter Green Lantern.
That was later revealed to be Sinestro.
I almost wore my Green Lantern earring just for that.
I forgot you had that.
You have a green lantern.
I have a Batman earring too.
You should see his Flash cock ring.
Well, in my Plastic Man anal probe.
I would be surprised, man. You have
It
like a whole.
inflates when it's inside, guys.
It inflates when it's inside.
All I'm saying is don't knock it till you try it, okay?
I mean,
You
it's
bought
what,
it for me.
2000, divisible 225. I guess you can do whatever you
Told you
want.
that.
Right?
Call you that. Confident.
Okay, so our next point, Len, I know you're new to this series, so you're
I am.
still trying to figure things out. We always do fun facts, then we talk a little bit about the voice actors, then we'll go into like rating the series and then recommendations. So now that being said, I'll start with the very first person, Virgil Ovid. Did you guys know his middle name was Ovid? Virgil Ovid Hawkins.
Virgil COVID Hawkins. Sorry. Yep.
Oh, I see what you did there. Virgil Ovid Hawkins, aka Static, voiced by Phil Lamar.
Hot isn't everything. In some circles, wit and offbeat charm still count for a lot.
Phil has also voiced characters on other series, such as Jon Stewart, aka the Green Lantern, throughout all of the DCAU, Bobby Stroganovsky in The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, Carver Descartes in The Weekenders, and Wilt in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. So isn't that funny? Static is Wilt, and also Bobby. The Bobby was the one that blew me.
I can see Wilt, but Bulby. All right.
Yes, you do.
Richie, Osgood Foley, a.k.a. Gear, voiced by Jason Marsden.
V-Man, you could so be a superhero.
Has also voiced Kovu in The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride.
Oh, Jason's watching. That'd be kind of cool.
Haku in the American dub of Spirited Away. Oh, that's totally right.
And he was fucking who?
What?
Who was the last voice he was?
Snapper Carr in Justice League, and also Max. Oh yeah, I knew that one. Max Goof in Goofy the movie,
and the sequel,
and
House of Mouse. I didn't write House of Mouse, but he is in House of Mouse.
I know, but he's barely in House of Mouse. Such a great show. You can't find that fucking anywhere.
Nope. I went looking. I think you can get them on YouTube.
Yeah, this guy, man, what a legend, dude. Robert Hawkins, dude. Already sounds like a legendary guy right there.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Hawkins, Virgil's dad, dude. Virgil's seen it.
A man who's got his shit together.
Now, this guy, voiced by Tevin Michael Richardson.
I would never force you to do that, son.
And about what I said to Sharon?
Forget it. We all lose our cool now and again. In fact, I may owe you an apology.
For what?
I thought you had come to terms with your mom's death all this time. I was wrong about that, huh?
Pops,
Want to talk about it?
Maybe later, okay?
I understand. It took me a long time before I could even say her name without feeling pain. Whenever you're ready, son.
Now, this guy right here, wow, this guy done some work. Richardson has voiced Goro in Mortal Kombat and reprises of Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion Revenge, Captain Gantu in Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part is when Santi, like, it hits him.
That's right.
Bulkhead from Transformers Prime. There we go. Yeah. The Joker in the Batman.
I don't get that one.
That's the newer Batman. That's the newer The Batman that don't like. The one that fought Dracula. He was the Joker with the dreads.
With the dreads.
Yep.
Oh.
Trigon, yo. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So Trigon's one of my personal favorite. That's currently fun and crazy. Mammoth.
He does Mammoth too. Oh.
Wow, this guy's done a lot, man.
In the Teen Titans, yeah.
And Seymour in Teen Titans. And Oroku Saki / The Shredder in the 2012 series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that's crazy. That guy's done
the minute you start reading these voices, it's instantly in your head. You can hear like the deep boom to it. Really, a lot of these guys have that deep boom that's just like kind of like so smooth.
Like when I hear Trigon's voice and I hear Goro's voice, like, okay, but hearing like his dad's voice, I don't see like how that guy could be Goro or be Trigon, you know.
That's how you become a great voice actor.
Well,
You know,
think about
that proves your ability to be a really good voice
Virgil's
actor.
dad's not really getting into fights like in this series, so you're not hearing
he's
like
not,
an
but I don't
action
see the
sequence
voice.
of.
But I can't see the voice of being like, you know, it's just whatever.
I don't know if you guys have seen those animated Mortal Kombat movies, dude, but they're on Max and they're fucking lit. Oh my god, they're so good.
They're vicious, dude. Wow, dude, man.
They're so that's a story for another time, but they are so good.
They're very good. Yes, they are.
All right, and next we have Sharon Hawkins, also known as Virgil's older sister, was voiced by Michelle Morgan,
known as a bitch.
Football injury, huh?
Yes, sir.
2 things. 1, since when do you play football without a helmet? And 2, since when does your narrow behind play football at all?
Who asked you, Miss Nosy?
Damn, I'm telling. Not many voice acting roles for Sharon other than voicing Juicy Hudson on the PJs and Rosa Parks on the Boondocks. I don't know if you guys ever saw
Parks?
Yeah, Rosa Parks on the Boondocks. The Boondocks is just a great series, a phenomenal series. But if you guys haven't checked out the PJs, it's like Eddie Murphy plays the main character, and they're all like claymation. It used to be on Adult Swim a lot, and it's a funny ass show. I highly recommend checking that one out too. That being said, we are now through all the voice actors. Let's go round table. We'll start with Santi, and then Len will hit you. Santi, on a scale from F to A+, what would you list Static Shock?
Give it a solid C+, maybe B-.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good answer. Len, what you got for us? What would you put this on the...
Good answer.
For the fucking guy.
Family Feud.
I want to give him an A for certain reasons, but probably a solid B+, just because, you know, at least from my knowledge, one of the very first, like, African-American superheroes. Powers are pretty freaking cool.
He was the very first African-American superhero to lead his own TV series.
That's what I'm saying, you know, just for, you know, people of color like me, you know, just seeing that. And during those days when, you know, where it's not like so hyped about now being a person of color, it's kind of crazy. Like, wow, holy crap. Like, you know, seeing someone in my skin tone.
Inspiring. Yeah.
Very inspiring. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So you said what? You said C+.
Borderline B-.
Lenny, you said B+. I'm going to go B-.
Wow.
I'm going to go B-.
That's fucked up. Minus the blacks like that.
That's what I'm saying.
It's literally, you guys say what you will, but Santi have talked about it. And when you put into perspective that it was aimed for just slightly younger, when we going back and rewatching all the series, when you go back and you rewatch all these series, you got to put Batman in first. You got to put Superman second, Batman Beyond. You know what? This one and Batman Beyond are pretty interchangeable for me. If you want to like ask, they're very on par with each other. But if the Batman and Superman the animated series, those two were just fucking phenomenal. Those get the top 2 spots for now. Then we're going to hit Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. So you listeners, just be patient. We'll get there. We promise. We started off on this mission and we are going to finish it.
We know you tune in every time we release an episode just to hear the update on DC. So we appreciate your patience.
It's still there. There's still the D and then the C.
The D and the C. That's crazy, guys.
Why don't we start to pick some of our recommendations for the listeners? And Lenny, why don't you start for us in this round?
Recommendation episodes. I mean, there's a lot of good ones.
And listeners too, with 3 of us on the episode today, most likely, usually me and Santi try not to overlap, but it's going to be hard. So if we overlap with our favorite episodes, it's just because They're so great.
We picked,
personally, well, it wasn't a personally one, but the Jimmy episode here, it's kind of a crazy episode, kind of reminded me of another famous TV show where there was a very traumatic event happening, other 90s kids may know that show.
Is it Degrassi?
It's Degrassi, yeah, man, when Drake got shot.
Oh, was I right? Yeah. I figured it was when Drake got shot.
Fuck him.
Oh.
Better than all his
He deserved to get shot. Don't talk to me,
fucking
slut.
go for Kendrick.
Don't talk to me, slut.
But yeah, no, like that one was pretty traumatic. And
it was, dude. It was, Jimmy, he's kind of a shy kid, always playing on his laptop, just kind of doing his thing. And these like group of like, 3 different school bullies just constantly pick on him, take his laptop, push him down, close his laptop. Like literally, this dude one of the bullies spent the entire class sitting in front of this kid, constantly pushing his laptop down. And the teacher could just give all fuck about it and was just fucking off in the corner. And Virgil even says like, oh, they're like, look at Miss Eagle Eyes really doing her job.
And that's the way it went all period. He just kept tormenting Jimmy any way he could. It was like a sick game till the jerk finally won. And all the time I kept wondering, where's Eagle Eye Coleman when you need her? Of course, I could have told her what was going on. I wish I had.
But, Virgil, here's the thing. Virgil would be the first one to be like, I didn't do anything, dude. Like, I saw him getting picked on. I made sure he was okay after, but I wasn't like, all Virgil really said was like, hey, man, not cool. And the dude's like, what are you, a loser too? And Virgil's like, whoa.
You know what's funny, though, about this whole episode is like, one, the school bully, the crazy, his name was like, his name was Nick. So,
Yeah, he was Nick. He was Nick.
Not cool, Nick. Give me a break, Hawkins.
Now, did we know, I forget, did we learn about how Static's mom died in the pilot?
Not in the pilot, no.
So was this the first time he mentions that he hated guns because his mom got killed in a shooting?
Yep. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah, so for the listeners that haven't seen the episode, Richie and Virgil, they feel bad for Jimmy. They want to go hang out over his house. And, they go in the room and Richie starts nerding out because it's all nerd stuff everywhere. Like made up, like it's not Star Trek, but it's like the Star Trek
Force,
spoof.
something like that.
Yeah. And so he's got some kind of phaser gun and he picks it up and he's like, yeah, this is cool. And then, I don't know if Virgil had just dropped some acid or smoked some weed or something, but they're like, Virgil, isn't this cool? And he's looking at the lava lamp, like looking like Santi was 2 seconds ago.
This is cool, man.
He's like, whoa. But no, so he had the fake gun and he was like, you like the fake gun? I can go get my dad's real gun. And then like Virgil lost his shit.
I got it on DVD. We could watch it, or I could show you something even cooler. I could show you a real gun.
What?
My dad bought it. For protection. Want to see?
No, I hate guns. My mom was killed by one. It was an accident, but listen, I gotta go. See you tomorrow at school, okay? Come on, Rich.
Bad idea, man.
Oh, yeah.
Lo and behold, more like Jimmy, Virgil storms away and he's pissed off and he's kind of not talking to Jimmy, which is kind of sad because these were Jimmy's only 2 friends in the whole school. So now he's getting picked on more and more and he doesn't really have Virgil and Richie there. And this dude just fucking snaps. He goes, gets his dad's gun and he brings it to school. And he is going to shoot Nick. Like, he is going to kill. He's just had it. And there's this big sad moment where he's breaking down crying and he's holding the gun square at Nick's face. And Nick's like, all right, come on, man. It was just jokes. And he's like, no, fuck you. Fuck everybody for picking on me. Like, I've had it.
That's enough.
Sorry. What's that?
A gun.
Okay, put it down. That's not funny.
Lots of things aren't funny. Breaking my computer wasn't funny. Shoving me in the locker wasn't funny.
Jimmy, you're right. I'm sorry, man.
No, you're not.
Jimmy, don't! He's not worth it!
She's right, man. You're all upset about this now, but next week, it won't even matter. Don't mess up your whole life over this.
And, Virgil and Richie show up and they try and de-escalate things. And Richie ends up taking a bullet in the leg. And I'm going to put the voice clip right here because me and Santi quote it all the time where Richie hits the ground. There's no blood no blood is shown.
Crazy, right? No blood, no anything like that.
No rip in the pants or nothing.
Yeah, they couldn't
Not even a rip though. Like usually to avoid it, they'll just show the little skin in the where the bullet would have been.
It
But
he just banged his knee really hard.
Yeah, he's just doing that Peter Griffin.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, right. And then he starts just being like.
But what's the best thing that he says to Virgil, Santi?
It hurts. It's not like the movies.
It's not a movie. Yeah, it's not
like the movie.
It's not like the movie.
Oh, it hurts. It's not like on TV.
Somebody call 911.
No.
They said Jimmy looked really confused and angry.
Like, who would say that?
I mean, it is a legitimate thought, though. Tell me you haven't saw someone get shot and been like, well, remember when Will Ferrell does it in Step Brothers where the big explosions behind him?
That's other guys.
Oh,
They walk away and it's like,
it's not like the movies.
How do people walk away from explosions like that? I call bullshit. I need an MRI.
Yeah, so great episode. Good choice. Also one of my top 3 choices, Len. Santi, why don't you go into one?
I like the big leagues, but there was another one on season 2 that I enjoyed. Where is it? You just talked about Jimmy. All right. Well, I was going to pick Jimmy, but like we talked about earlier, me and Nick honestly picked almost the same episode. So my second favorite from season 2 is the big leagues, because being such a huge fan of the Batman animated series, I was super pumped to see Joker get his dirty little mitts on Dakota City.
Oh, now, we can't blame Ferret for being a bit disoriented.
The Joker!
So formal? Call me Uncle Jay. Everyone does.
What are you doing here?
Such a sad story. You see, things got a bit uncomfortable for me back home. Thanks to a cranky bat, my cadre of cronies were cast in the clink. Suddenly I was set adrift. Not a friend in the world. Then I realized Dakota's just lousy with fun young people like you. So I decided to pop in and scare up some new recruits.
And just have it Batman and Static working together, and having Static get all giddy any chance he could get. He's like, yeah, like I could join a mission with you guys, and Bruce would be like, no, you're not ready. Like, handle the citizens of Dakota, blah blah blah. And then Robin fucking be like, he's always like this. Like, he really likes you.
He needs an opponent who can measure up.
Hey, I can measure up.
Don't take it personally. Batman and Joker go way back.
Can I help?
Probably not.
The Tim Drake Robin, so the shorter
That's
one.
Right.
Yeah, the shorter
Drake,
one.
Yeah.
Which is cool because in the I'll talk about this one then.
I will say this is I know we talked about how earlier, like how mature Virgil is, but like in episodes like this, it really shows his immaturity because he's trying so hard to impress Batman that he goes on his own, which what is clearly a trap from Joker, and Joker traps him and jeopardizes the mission for Batman and Robin. And Bruce kind of yells at him. And he's like, dude, you're in the fucking way. Like, you still have so much to learn. And then Virgil gets all pissed and he's like, what? I'm in the way? Like, what's he talking about? This is my town.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you know what, though? If I was Virgil, too, I'd be like, yo, fuck you, Batman.
Yeah, no. you wouldn't say "fuck you, Batman."
I'm sure
Everyone clearly knows who Batman is at this point in time.
If I had the electrical powers, I would like to think I would probably.
He would spray you with shark spray.
He would. Oh, no, he would.
No. Facts. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't think I'm better than not having a pissing contest. Like, I'm agreeing with the fact that if he did come in and start pushing me around, that's very. I would feel the exact.
That's
same way.
That's his guy.
Nick.
Joker is his guy.
Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about villains, if a villain comes into a different town,
Territory.
do you think it belongs, like, it's up to the original person's hero to come take him out, or should it be the person in the city?
Well,
that
like,
depends on who that depends on the supervillain.
Yeah, normally it depends on the
I feel like the Joker is probably the worst that could come.
Because
Like, let's say, like,
Static,
fucking. Oh no, sorry.
Static is like first. He's still first starting out, and Batman knows this. He had his information on Static. So, like, if Static maybe was seasoned, like, maybe if he had worked with the League before, like he does eventually in seasons 3 and 4.
Yep.
Bruce definitely would have been like, okay, Joker's coming to Dakota City. I'll warn Static, but, like, he can handle it on his own.
Yeah.
But it was his first time encountering Joker.
Yeah.
So, like, Batman, he knew what he had to fucking do. He wasn't going to let Dakota City get fucking raw dogged by Joker.
No, but it also makes you wonder, does Batman just chase the Joker around the world? So, like, if Batman looks and notices that the Joker's not sitting in his hideout, does he, like, immediately hunt him down?
He went fucking the other side of the planet to try to fuck up Ra's al Ghul.
That's true. That's true. But so, like, there must be some kind of way that he's like, Ra's is clearly worse off than if I leave Gotham to nobody. Well, I guess he has Robin and Batgirl. So yeah, at that point, he could feel safe enough to just ditch Gotham City. And it's cool because in Heart of Nails, season 3, episode 1, Static travels to Gotham City this time to rescue Nails, a school friend of his who's now associating with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
A fitting fate for such wooden hearts.
Excuse me, Red. But telling bad jokes is my shtick.
Don't be afraid, hon. We've come to help.
Me and my homegirls, that's my
And essentially, this girl has, like, really long nails that grow, and she can shoot them out too, if I remember correctly, as, like, projectiles. But Batman is alone, and Robin's not with him this time. And I'll play this voice clip too, because Virgil is like, "Hey, where's Robin?" And then Batman literally says he's with the Titans.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right.
I remember I was hyped.
Nice crib.
How are you feeling, Virgil?
You know, I guess you really are the world's greatest detective.
It fell out of your pocket. You probably shouldn't carry that while you're in uniform.
Right. So, where's Robin?
With the Titans.
The who?
You'll meet him someday.
Right? Titans had just come out. I remember when it came out. I've watched all these other, like, meetups and stuff, and I was like, oh my God. So does that mean the Justice League and Batman will meet the Titans too? It just never happened. Originally, they were going to have the Titans meet Static in the next season. It just the season never came through. But Len, why don't you go into another one?
Oof, okay.
Yeah, do you have a favorite
I have another favorite one?
Yeah, do you have any in 3 that you want to talk about? Or you don't have to talk about these ones, but if you had any that you wanted to pick.
Did you watch Gear, right?
I did watch Gear. Gear was
Maybe that's
pretty
not his
good.
favorite one.
I wouldn't say it's a favorite, but I would say it's a necessary episode to watch so you get the rest of the series. Like, it's one of those ones where I wouldn't say a favorite. Well, to some people,
because he's white, right?
Shut the fuck up. I knew you were going to say something like that. I was like, I was waiting for what you was like, going to say. You know what I'm saying? No, I think it's cool because you know, after like so many seasons, you know, Richie finally gets to join like the club.
Yeah.
You know, fourth run of, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's like it's a needed kind of episode so you can get the rest of the series going.
Yeah, he was always the
guy in the chair.
The guy in the chair. I was literally Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking of. The guy in the chair. My thing growing up, I never wanted the guy in the chair. I always wanted the guy in the chair to get his own thing and come out and help. I was always about partners. When Superman met Steel, I thought that was fucking phenomenal. I've always been a fan of Batman and Robin. Like, I like people when they have no one should do anything alone. Not even jerk off. Especially jerk off. You should never jerk off alone.
Don't say like, oh, like, yeah, like, I don't know.
No, I feel like people should not do things alone, especially if it comes to things like being a
Jerking
superhero.
off.
Well, just think like you
Having
should have
sex.
somebody have your back.
Yeah. So
Lenny just talked about gear.
All right.
I did talk about gear. It wasn't a favorite, but it was necessary.
That's
So-
what I'm saying. Like,
Well, what did you watch, Lenny?
yeah. What's a favorite one that you've watched that you liked?
I mean, technically, Jimmy was my favorite one. I mean, the other one, I guess, was the most controversial one, I would say, which was happened to be Richie's dad, Sons of the Fathers.
Sons of the
You know,
Fathers. Yeah. I wanted to talk
which is the
about
one
that.
I feel like the people that have watched this series, I feel like know the most, just because we did mention earlier that it does cover some pretty mature topics at that age.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them being the fact that how like Richie always hung out at
never went home. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yo, Earth to Virgil? My sister's right. I hate that. Right about what? We never hang at your crib. We always hang here. Well, what about the time that, or remember the time when we, When we what, Richie? Face it, bro. You've never invited me over. I've never even met your pops.
Well, it's just more fun over here, that's all. Why are you sweating me over this, V?
I'm not. A brother just needs a little change of pace, you know what I'm saying?
I guess I do. I'll have you over. Soon.
How soon?
This Friday night.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll work.
All their entire friendship basically was like, yeah, we hang out at Virgil's house, if he goes, his dad's cool, blah, blah, this, like his family's awesome. And then like Virgil starts to question him and be like, well, like, yeah, my family is awesome and this and that. And, I love that you're over all the time. But then he kind of agreed with his sister saying that like, well, he's over here so much, he should pay rent, basically. Saying like, hey, well, like, why don't we go to your house? And, Richie tries to like basically avoid the question and, be like,
Deflect.
yeah, just like deflect everything. They're like, well, I don't know. I mean, this and that, this and that, this and that. And then Virgil basically just pressures him. And then like, it's like, well, like, what day? Like, when is it? Like, when is it going to be that time? Because I feel like it's never really going to happen. And then like, he's
And
like,
then it does.
And then it does. But obviously, Richie tries to like tell him like, hey, this is dynamic of the family, just so you know. But Virgil, Virgil being Virgil, happy-go-lucky Virgil, is like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And, his dad just absolutely kind of grills him, basically. And Virgil is like, at first, he's a little bit kind of like shocked. And like, he's like, it's nothing, dad.
Yeah,
just
tries
mad,
to brush it off.
It's whatever. It's not a big deal.
My dad, sometimes, I'm so embarrassed.
Will you stop? My pops hates hip-hop, too. It's not a black-white thing, it's an old thing. As far as I'm concerned, this whole thing is squashed. Time to get minty fresh.
But it's so bad. He just gets worse and worse.
It gets worse and worse right up until like, dinner time. It's basically just like a lot of just like, you can kind of hear it in his voice, talks about it in his like his personal life, talks about the music they listen to, kind of very similar how we grew up, very similar. Well, like, well, this music's not tolerated because of this, and that. And, and then obviously, it gets to the big one where, Virgil's ready to go, like, freshen up, they're ready for bed. And he, hears that his dad doesn't like, his kind. And that, I think right there, like Virgil knew where it was like, oh, my kind. Well, all right, well, I guess if my kind isn't accepted here, I'll go home.
Now I see why Richie acts like a hood, Maggie. That kid's a bad influence. All his kind are.
Keep your voice down.
It's bad enough I gotta deal with them all day long. Now one of them's in my house.
And, personally, as a person of color, we'll be, 2024, 2025, person of color. It is, I have unfortunately felt that in my life, in my past, and in my present sometimes too, that, there's times where you kind of can feel like around you don't feel accepted, but you kind of have to make do. And some people, there are some people out there, obviously, for instance, y'all, that accept people for who they truly are and, want to learn more. And, but there are other people out there, unfortunately, that are just stuck in the past. Basically,
set in their ways,
set in their ways, stuck in the past, basically saying essentially you are second class, we are first class.
I call those people fuck faces, really.
So, and but that's just the world we live in. But I feel like that episode, sorry guys, that episode reminds us that in life you can't always read a book by its cover, you have to get to know people. You have to get to know them. You have to get to know the true story, because then you'll find out great, amazing things, good qualities, positive qualities about that person that you maybe have never would have guessed. And that person could one day become your best friend. Like these two right here. So,
love you,
just kind of you never know what's going to happen. And, that episode definitely hits home, not just for me, but I feel like for a lot of people around the world now, So
and I like that because they tackle something like this in this series, because what does all that stuff stem from, right? It's their upbringing that gets passed down to them, and then they're passing it down to the younger demographic people, the younger generation. And so to have a show like this, to have an episode like this, to show, hey man, that's not cool. You can't judge someone by the color of their skin. You know what I mean? A black person can be a really good person. A Spanish person could be a really good person. Anybody, it doesn't matter. And for them to hit, we were saying, this is a show for younger fans, and the fact that you're getting at them so young to teach them these really important lessons. I think that's why this series goes up to the B category, whether we put it in B minus, B plus, or just a B or whatever. Santi said C, racist.
C plus.
C plus.
C, I like it. C.
C, yes. Yes, he likes it. But yeah, no, great. That was, I think, the best episode of season 1. I figured, let's talk about, do you want to talk about A League of Their Own part 1 and 2, or do you want to do Future Shock next?
I just want to touch back on, what's it called? Sons of Our Fathers. When I was rewatching the series before we did this episode, when they first came to the house, the mother's very timid, and I'm like, I think the father beats the dad. I was like, the dad does something fucky. And then once
the father beats the mother, you mean?
The father beats the dad, whatever. And once he starts talking and showing his true colors, I was like, oh yeah. I remember I was terrified when I learned about the KKK in elementary school. So that kind of being Hispanic, that kind of when I watched that when I was a kid, kind of reignited my fear of oh, there are people that don't like people that are white. So that episode really resonated with me when I was a kid too. And back to the whole Jimmy episode, when we forgot to talk about this, when this show is geared towards a younger audience, and Static looks in the camera, breaks the fourth wall, and says, if you or anyone you know
PSA at the very
end.
Right,
the PSA.
Yeah. He's like, if you have anyone you know own a firearm that shouldn't be, or handling dangerously, contact an adult, blah blah blah. And I don't think I saw that episode when I was a kid, but when I when I rewatched the series, I was like, oh, nice. That was cute. You know, nice little touch up in there.
Seeing Richie get shot like that.
I mean, you didn't see him get shot.
No, but watching him hold his leg,
I don't even know
that
if you hear the bang.
You hear the gun go off, but you don't see him get shot.
Yeah,
You
no.
see him holding his leg after. Yeah. Oh my God, it hurts.
I just think it's crazy. I mean, just think about that. Like, imagine being like 8 to 10 years old, 11 years old, and just seeing. I mean, like, look, I'm not saying that you don't like seeing people like people get shot like in regular shows, but like in that specific show, like seeing someone like actually like pull out a gun, pointing at a human being, and then like not intentionally, but like actually like shoot someone, like that's crazy. That's like and then being like, wow, that actually could happen to me, and and
you know what's
traumatizing.
Is that it took Batman the Animated Series like 3 seasons for Batman to get shot in the. Do you remember how long it took for him to get shot?
No, on a more serious note.
Okay.
We experience. Okay, we don't experience. We see on the news school shootings almost every day, all the time. We are desensitized to it. Back in the day, I don't know. I think you might have told me, but when I was in middle school, the Columbine shooting. They went on tour and talked about, like bullying and like speaking up and blah, 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 like PSA. And like, it just wasn't really, it was huge. Like it wasn't a thing, which is why our country was very, not really wary, but like trying to get people like in the know of like the signs to look for of like what to do, what not to do when it comes to school shooters and bullying. And now it's just like inevitable. Like it's probably going to happen. God forbid it doesn't happen to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's a very good point. This is a very crucial episode. The both of them really are crucial episodes, but especially with now and how many shootings we do have, I feel like that is a very important episode, and we should have at least one of the new shows that are out there for kids that needs to talk about something like this and the dangers of it.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? Or like the dangers of bullying too. Cause like he was saying with the PSA, Virgil was like
a little bullying.
If you get, it leads to that.
Yeah.
There was the Columbine and then Virginia Tech, all those, you remember?
Yeah.
Like it's just.
Those were unheard of at the time. Like,
Right. And I mean, like, I definitely will add, I feel like with a lot of shows that are, geared towards the younger audiences, I mean, I definitely feel like these days they really try to edit things and really make it like, not seem like it's there, but, I like exactly, like, I think, like 100% too. We need to start, definitely start adding those things that are like, even though they are uncomfortable to speak about, they need to be talked about because the only way to get past the problem is to talk about it, let the issue be known, and then start fixing that solution, and then fixing and then getting towards a better solution. That's the only way. But you can't keep putting it off, hiding in the box, or wait until they get to a certain age and tell them. Yeah, it's kind of like you have to tell them soon. Early would be great, and be like, hey, this is what's going on in your life. This is the problem. We got to find a solution.
And be safe. Yep. It's I heard a story recently where, a kid was talking about how much like their parents take them hunting and how they can touch guns and stuff like that. But it became a big thing, like where one little kid was like, yeah, like my family likes to go hunting. And then that became like, well, are the guns locked? Like, do you know, like, are you shooting the guns? Like you don't know where these people are getting, how long they've had access to the guns, what their mental state is as they grow up. Are they getting picked on? Because like one of the first things Jimmy's dad said is, I just Of course, he had access to it. I never thought Jimmy was that kind of person because he was a dork, right? He was a nerdy kid with no friends. You didn't think that was the kind of person that was going to go do that.
Right, but I don't think he also knew that, I don't think he knew that his son was, getting bullied and was so depressed to the fact that, he was willing to, end someone's life because, you saw how Nick bullied him. Nick
did know he was getting.
Nick did some pretty shitty things to him.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Especially the last part, dude.
It's
the last
the
part
MS.
where, he was gonna gang up onto him, in the freaking maze
Haunted
that
house.
he helped build. That he helped build. That he was that the girl was going being dude. He loved he did
And
a
then
great
Nick
job.
was hitting on the girl and being like,
Right.
"Oh, come on, you don't like that fucking loser, right?"
Right.
And she's like,
Exactly.
"No, I don't. No,
Exactly.
we're just
And that broke his
friends. I
heart.
would never date him."
Broke his heart. And
Oh,
then
man. Broke my heart.
So the broken heart, he's about to get beat up. And then makes matters worse, he thinks he's good, he thinks he's out there. No. Fucking puts him in a locker and shoves him in there and locks it. And I'm just like, yo, do you know how traumatizing and scary that is?
Dude,
Especially
if
people
you
that are
listen to
claustrophobic.
the way he's crying
Right,
when Virgil
yes.
lets him out of the locker and he hits the ground and he's bawling his eyes out, you feel the hurt and the scaredness inside.
Nowhere to run now. No! You want a place to hide? I'll give you a place to hide.
No! Let me out! Let me out! Let me out! Please! Please let me out!
You guys are creeps, you know that?
Yeah, dude, he's absolutely terrified and afraid. And now you kind of understand the reason why he wrote that note, said what he said, and, did what he did. Because if you were put through that type of traumatizing experience, you would I'm not saying no one should, but at the same time, you definitely would feel some type of pressure to want to do something, to avenge what just happened to you.
Yeah.
So but I would never ever tell anyone.
No, I'm down for going to punch the kid square in the mouth.
100%,
It's what I
yeah.
would have done back in the day. It's what you would have done. It's just I'm down for that. I get that. It's when you want to take it further than just evening the
someone's
score.
life. Yeah, that's not
Right.
Not cool.
So I think those are I'll put up for voted for two of the best episodes of this series. Let's try and hit a little bit of a lighter, more fun note. Sorry guys, it needed to get talked about, and I honestly thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. But let's next go into A League of Their Own, part 1 and 2, season 3, episodes 6 and 7. Santi, I'll let you talk about part 1, and I'll jump into part 2.
The only thing that upset me about this was Superman and Batman weren't in it. Which I don't know. Maybe we should have looked that up if there was maybe it was going to be a bigger budget if they had to add all the members of the Justice League. I don't know. But other than that, it was pretty cool because I told you I was trying to watch all the shows in order. And it was one, I think it might have been a season opener or season finale where the Justice League is fighting Brainiac. And I'm watching them in order. So when I finished one season, I started Static Shock, and in the middle of this season,
they're fighting Brainiac.
Yeah, so I loved how they did that on purpose, where it's okay, everything's tying
jumping
together.
off.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that it tied in like that.
Because I was watching all the seasons in order, and once and this happened,
and I can think of the exact Justice League episode.
This happened with Batman and Superman, where once the show was getting towards the end, they would start the other show. So the first 2 seasons and the last couple seasons of each show were airing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like Justice League was starting when Static was ending. Yeah. So it might have been season 1 of Justice League. I don't know. So I thought that was cool.
Season 1, I'm pretty sure, is 2001 when it came out. So I think it was like right after this. Yeah.
So obviously, like, huge fan of Justice League. Loved to see them all. Obviously, Richie and Virgil are fucking nerding out when they get to the tower. And what's it called? The Justice League thought they defeated Brainiac, and then Richie and Virgil will soon figure that not to be true.
Yeah, the Justice League have to basically leave. Like they went to the Watchtower, and it was like oh my God, we're meeting our heroes kind of thing. Then there was a big like emergency, and the Justice League had to step out.
Promised them, he's like, well, I can look through your system and like,
and they're like, don't worry, dude, we'll watch the Watchtower. You guys go take care of that threat. Lo and behold, it's actually Brainiac doing this shit on the Watchtower.
We don't have to go yet, do we? So far, I've only seen one corner of the room.
It's a distress call from Novellis 2. An asteroid swarm is threatening to collide with their planet.
This is going to take all of us.
There goes an afternoon movie.
What about them?
The Watchtower isn't fully charged yet, so Static and Gear will have to stick around, just in case.
By themselves?
As long as they don't touch anything, they should be fine.
You guys are old enough to stay home alone, right?
Right.
And so part 2 takes up the Justice League. It came back, and were they possessed in part 1, or did that happen in this one?
They weren't possessed until after
when they make it to the gas station. Right.
They weren't possessed until they come back to Earth after what's his face? Richie gets possessed.
Guys? Richie?
Your natural electrical field short-circuited my thought control discs.
What are you talking about?
I am not Richie.
I am Brainiac.
Brainiac? What have you done to Richie?
Your friend is totally in my control.
I thought we wiped you out.
You merely delayed the inevitable, Static. I still intend to digitize all information on this planet and then destroy it.
You want to rip and burn the Earth? I don't think so.
Go ahead. The only one who will feel any pain is your friend.
Richie, if you can hear me, you gotta fight him. I broke free from his mind control. You can too.
Yeah.
He's the one that starts possessing them, I think.
Right. So in part 1, they defeat, or what they think they do is defeat Brainiac. So part 2 takes place with now Virgil and Gear. Static and Gear are now back at their home base, which is in the abandoned gas station. And come to find out, Brainiac had still control over Richie and started
Richie's backpack.
Yep, Richie's backpack, which in turn, took over Richie.
Yeah.
And then little by little,
happened,
he was taking over numerous people.
Yeah.
And it was up to Static to really stop not only Brainiac, Richie, but now the Justice League is starting to get possessed
minus
too.
Batman and Superman.
Minus Batman and Superman. But if you really think about it, in the comic books, it was the very same way too. Batman and Superman were so popular that they would always have their own little missions because they had their own, like Gotham needs tending to, and so does Metropolis. So that's why they have the Justice League to watch all the rest of the Earth.
Cool thing, not to get ahead, because we're going to do an episode on Justice League, but like Batman says multiple times, I'm not part of the league. No, I don't do well with a team. Not part of the league, but he always does joint missions with the league. Because at that time, he wasn't part of the Justice League. And, you know, they asked him several times throughout the series. He doesn't become an official member until like the final season of Justice League, and then in Unlimited, he's like,
yeah. I couldn't remember if he was a reserve or not.
I mean, reserve.
And that's why he would get called in a lot. So that one, those two, phenomenal. Just seeing, And knowing now that, Green Lantern and Static are the same voice actor is fucking phenomenal. That's lit. We'll jump a little bit now further into the future. Season 4, episode 1, Future Shock, another Batman episode. But this time, when Static is thrust into the future, he must team up with Terry McGinnis, the current Batman, to save the adult Static from the Cobra. Static is like trying real hard to be Terry's friend. He's like, damn, dude, I just got shot into the future. Hey, man, you seem cool. And Terry's like, you don't know what you're doing. I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I'm not Bruce Wayne.
You're still mad about that little go-round we had.
This has nothing to do with that. Suppose something happened to you tonight. Something bad. That would mean the older version of you would never have existed. Right?
Could that really happen? I mean, then he...
Let's not try any experiments.
What's it called? I thought it was funny how, like, in the episode's like, we have to save the most important hero on the planet. And then Static's like, who would that be? And he goes, Static Shock. And he's like,
Wherever Cobra's keeping him, I'm sure they're guarding him very heavily.
He's one of our greatest heroes. Someone with the power to change the world. Someone who...
Come on! How great can this guy be if he's stupid enough to get caught by a bunch of snake people?
He's you, Virgil.
This is great.
It's like he's the most important hero on the planet. That's kind of a stretch.
And Lenny, you were in the middle of this one, right?
Yeah, basically.
So I don't want to give too much away. I'm not going to let you know who they fought or how they beat them, but just know that it's really a good episode. And so when we do finish this, I recommend finishing that. And you got to check out this last episode. I'll let Santi talk about this one.
Spoiler alert, Static is old.
In black.
I wasn't going to
fucking crazy.
See what he does, dude. Always bringing race into it. You brown necks bastard. Just like me and Nick were saying earlier, I love the banter that Terry and Static have. They're kind of around the same age. Well, I think Terry's like probably like 21 or something.
No, he's 18.
Yeah.
At least when the series started.
Yeah. So like they're around the same area. It was cool, and Static has worked with Bruce Wayne before.
Mm-hmm.
I know Old Man Bruce doesn't really make too many references to the workings in the past, but he tells Terry, he's like, he can trust him. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good hero. Terry's not easily impressed. Who's the villain in that? Cobra?
Yeah, the cult. It was like the evil. Yeah.
That was so dumb.
They are real villains, and it's a real cult villain in the comics.
They were in the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Okay.
And getting a drink.
Okay. Grab me one too, please. While Santi goes to relieve his bowels, I will go into Hoop Squad. And Len, you can hear this too. Hoop Squad, guys, is season 4, episode 7. Static is amazed to discover that the NBA is also a cover for a superhero organization. NBA players Steve Nash, Yao Ming, Karl Malone, and Tracy McGrady guest star as operatives known as the Hoop Squad. The squad teams up with Static to rescue Gear, who has been kidnapped by the evil scientist, Dr. Odium. This was crazy. I know we had talked about it a little bit earlier today when me and you were, just on our little phone call.
Odium.
I
know, opium.
Take the heroin, kids. Take it. But no, so these guys team up.
Who are you guys?
Virgil Hawkins.
Richie Foley. Pleased to meet you. I'm...
The mailman, Karl Malone. And you're Tracy McGrady. Yao Ming and Steve Nash.
We are huge fans.
Super mega huge.
Well, can't have our super mega huge fans visit and go home empty-handed.
How'd you guys like an official all-star basketball?
Us? No. Definitely. Yes!
And it's cool because as a kid, I always remembered there was a team of athletes that teamed up with first of all, I thought they had their own TV series. And then I found out that there is a sports superhero TV show. It's just not these guys. That one is called like the All-Star Team or something like that. And it's got a baseball player, a hockey player, a football player, a soccer player. Like they're all in it together and they're all teamed up. But Hoop Squad was cool because Hoop Squad, one, has way better outfits. Just badass. They all have like their own unique powers. One can stretch really far. One can become like a human tornado or like a twister, like twist his bottom half and stuff. What was one of the other ones? I think one of the other ones was like a sharpshooter. Like he could like pinpoint like precise hits and stuff.
Right.
Where's Gear? In that tornado.
And I don't think he's on his way to Oz. But don't sweat it, Static. We'll find him.
Just who are you guys anyway?
Carmelone, codename Pulverizer.
Point Man.
Center Force.
Spin Drive.
We're the Hoop Squad.
I mean, like I was gonna say, I mean, they pick the most random players for this one. I mean, I'm not saying all these players aren't like legends and shit like that, but like, go on.
Well, in the episode, it's supposed to be that I think they're all on the All-American squad, or like they're all together to play football, to play basketball together on a team together. And I think it was for like a special thing that was happening in Dakota City.
Right.
And lo and behold, they were actually just undercover because they were looking for the Dr. Odium guy. And it just happens that, oh, no, wait, Dakota City has its own protector in Gear and Static Shock.
So it's kind of like a mashup in a way.
So those were our personal recommendation. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Lenny, thanks for coming and do this, buddy. We plan on having you on way more for a bunch more episodes. We got Rocket Power coming, bro.
Oh,
so
that's right. The Rocket Power episode, guys.
We got Rocket Power, and I've never seen those movies, so I'm excited to watch those movies.
Oh, there were movies, bro.
Fucking two of them.
No.
I only saw one.
No, there's two of them.
One more that came, like, I would say, like, late 2000s.
I think it was 04. I think the first one was like 01. The second one was 04. Well, we looked it up briefly the other day, me and you.
But still, very good.
Yeah.
That episode's going to be lit. But regardless.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time. Santi, also, thanks for coming through, trying to fight to stay awake. I'm so proud of you.
I fell asleep a couple times.
Oh, I know. It's on camera. Every time.
I mean, it was like, dude, I'm awake. I'm watching you on camera. I was like,
caught. You fucking lying piece of shit. You're lucky you're cute. No, me and Santi, like he was saying, we do have more down the line. We have Justice League next. That's going to be a fun one to check out.
Are we doing Justice League Unlimited in one shot? Should we just do that?
How many seasons is Justice League? I think it's 3. I think
Unlimited's only 2, and Justice League might be 4. But it could be 3.
I feel like it's 3. That's not too bad because that's just 5 seasons, really.
Yeah.
And you pick a couple episodes from each season. That'll be pretty good. Len, were you a big Justice League fan?
I had it the other way around. Justice League is 2 seasons. Unlimited is 3.
Yeah, so 5.
All right. Well, okay. So we're on but regardless, I'm a big Justice League fan. Justice League. And
start watching some Justice League episodes then.
Yeah, I will.
All right, and then we'll all reconvene and we'll do this again.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully earlier. Hopefully with a less tired Santi.
Yeah,
it's 1 a.m.
Oh my God, he keeps saying that like it's. Let me go tuck in the little one. All right, you guys have a good. you guys have a good night.
Enjoy a good tuck, Shit.
All right, peace out, Cub Scout.
All right,
peace out.
Thank you guys for listening.
Hey, peace.
Thank you for coming. Pause.
Static Shock is an American superhero animated television series based on the Milestone Media DC Comics. Let me start again. Static Shock is an American...
Dyslexic. Also uses secret superhero identity of Static. After exposure to a mutagen